So you want to visit the iconic Montmartre neighborhood, but you're not sure where to go, what to do? Well, I can help with that. I'm Erin Tridle from Love in Paris, and I'm also a Paris resident and friend of WalksDevour. Today, I'm going to show you all the most popular spots of Montmartre, as well as a few secret spots nestled in the famous Parisian district. To start, watch the sunrise at Sacré-Cœur. So a really special way that you can start your day is to climb these famous steps and go to the base of the Sacré-Cœur and watch the sun come up. Now, this does depend on the time of year, because during the winter months, it can usually be between 7:30 a.m. and 9 a.m., but during the summer months, it can be as early as 5:30 in the morning, sometimes 5:45, so definitely plan accordingly. Start the day with a Parisian breakfast. Here in France, it's common to have a croissant and some coffee. And for the coffee end of things, there are lots of great coffee shops in the area, like Montmartre Café, so it won't be a struggle getting caffeinated at this hour, whether you want to stay and enjoy it or take it to go.
Of course, I had to lean into my American side and get myself a delicious iced coffee, but there are tons of options on the menu here, and the owner is an expert barista.
And now to get your hands on a delicious buttery flaky croissant, we're gonna go over to Boulangerie Raphael, which is just around the corner from Montmartre. This place is known for its buttery croissant, and if you want a sweet treat for later, they got you covered.
I can personally recommend their delicious choux à la crème, which are small flaky rounds of pastry dough filled with dense whipped cream and covered in powdered sugar.
Head to this famous spot before it gets too busy. So we all know Montmartre is a super popular place to be. However, if you're able to visit one of its busier spots earlier in the day before it gets super busy, you absolutely should. I especially suggest coming over here to Place du Tertre. This place is social media famous now, but it's been around since 1635, and it's also been a hotspot for Montmartre's famous bohemian artists, poets, and writers. Today, it's still full of artists who sit in their designated spots around the square, selling their artwork while actively painting and drawing new pieces, so it's a pretty special place to be. Also, as you can see, it's 2 p.m. and it's a lot busier here now than it was this morning. Visit some of the most photographable spots in Montmartre. If you came all the way to Paris, then I think you deserve great photos to remember your trip by. I suggest going for a walk down to Rue de la Devour. It's considered one of the most beautiful and picturesque streets in the city.
And this road has a seriously long history here in Paris. It used to be a pathway that had another name, which had been around since as early as the 1300s.
It's also home to La Maison Rose, the famous pink restaurant that makes a great background for any picture. Check out the art of Montmartre. So in the late 1800s, Montmartre became a hotspot for some of the greatest artists of the era, and now there's one special museum that showcases the artistic history of this area called Musée de Montmartre, which is easy to remember even if your French isn't very good. This gorgeous art museum is actually one of the oldest buildings in the area, dating all the way back to the 1600s. Now it has paintings, posters, drawings from some of the most prominent artists that came through this part of Paris. In fact, Renoir himself actually lived in this building for 2 years, which is why one of the museum's beautiful gardens, as well as its cafe, is actually named after him. Also, you should definitely swing by the Musée de Montmartre if you want a little bit of art history and maybe a lovely afternoon stroll in some of their gardens. It's a great place to be, and it's gorgeous. Grab a bite at a classic Montmartre bistro. When it comes to restaurants, you're definitely gonna wanna get away from those busier roads and also those tourist hotspots. If you take the roads less traveled, you're more likely to find something quaint and authentic. I recommend Chez Ginette's, which is a local eatery that is absolutely classic and beloved by people in the area. Also, you should know that it's perfect for a little rest, relaxation, and refueling. And I recommend that you order either the bœuf bourguignon or also the duck breast, also known as the magret de canard, and for dessert, maybe a little pain perdu, which you'll know as French toast with some ice cream on top. Love discovering Montmartre with me? You can experience even more when you go on a WalksDevour Tour in Paris, where local experts will show you the food, history, and art of the city and bring it to life. Come see why Paris is even better with a local by your side. For more tips for your trip to Paris and other parts of Europe, click here so you can watch more helpful videos from WalksDevour full of tips and advice.